This is Mel Allen with Red Barber, bringing you the 11th consecutive World Series to come your way in Gillette's Cavalcade of Sports. Jim Britt doing the television, Rene Canizares beaming the broadcast in Spanish to the Latin American countries. And this broadcast being shortwaved around the world through the facilities of the Armed Forces Radio Service to 51 outlets covering the European, Asiatic, South American countries, wherever our troops may be stationed all over the world, beamed and rebeamed. Louis Olmo, right-hand hitter. Steps up for his first appearance at the plate. And the delivery. Right in there for a called strike. Vic Raschi into the windup, delivers. Curve swung on. There's a drive down the left field line, but it's going foul into the upper deck. Strike two. Louis got hold of one, but he pulled it too sharply and he went into the upper deck foul. Fouled by at least 25 feet. 2 strikes to count. Rackley started the ball game for you late tuners in, pulled a muscle in his back in the last half of the 4th inning, and Olmo replaced him, and this is his first appearance at the plate. The delivery, curve, just misses the outside corner, and it's a little low. Ball 1, 1-2. The score, the Dodgers 1, the Yankees nothing, and we're in the top of the 7th inning. In a ball game that's some 1 hour and 40 minutes old. Both Raschi and Frichero very deliberate and like to take time between their pitches. The 1-2 delivery. Olmo swings and hits a drive out in the right field. Coming fast as Hank Bauer. He can't get to it. It's in there for a base hit. Olmo cuts first, holds up as Bauer then bobbles the ball. But it was too late. He had taken his turn and stopped and started back. Bauer took his eye off the ball as he put it on Olmo to see whether he was breaking or not. The ball was not rolling hard. It had dropped in front of him, and he had gotten the glove on it, so he just reached in behind him and grabbed it. So Olmo is on with a bloop single to right field. It wasn't a line drive type of hit, but they don't care what kind they are, whether they are the bloop type, the line type, or whatever the type, as long as they come under the heading of hits. And here's Gil Hodges, who singled to left in the 2nd inning to drive in the lone run of the ball game thus far and fly to right field in the 4th. They pitched to Gill, high inside for a ball. Henrik and Johnson were looking for the bunt. They both charged the plate from 1st and 3rd respectively. 1-0 Brooklyn. 7th inning. Johnson's on the edge of the infield grass, a couple feet off third baseline. Henrik holding against Olmo and ready to charge. Rizzuto, 3 strides to the left of second in halfway. About 2 or 3 strides to the right of second is Coleman in halfway, with the outfield in general shaded step or 2 toward left. Raschi with the stretch checks his runner. Here's the pitch. Hodges swings and sends a ground ball out to Rizzuto. It is right up with it. Over to Coleman for 1. Back to first base. It is a double play. The Yankees execute a thrilling double play because that ball was hit into the third base hole. Had it been hit a little harder, probably gone through for the base hit. But not being hit too hard, it still, though it gave Rizzuto time to flash to his right and grab it, also made the Yankee infielders hurry to get the double play. Phil grabbed it, fired to Coleman, who pivoted and over to Henrik for the DP. Now Roy Campanella takes a curve outside for ball 1. The double play is a pitcher's greatest weapon. Outfield around toward left. Here's the pitch. Curve low outside for ball 2. 2 balls, no strikes. We have seen some thrilling baseball from the standpoint of well-executed baseball. From the standpoint, perhaps, of baseball as it was originally conceived. Not too much of the power type, but close to the best baseball that is so often exciting in a quiet sort of way. The 2-0 delivery to Campanella. Strike call over that outside corner, 2-1. Red, I suppose you might use the word seething for this type of baseball.
That's a pretty good word, Mel.
It continues and continues, and you're always tense because no one team ever gets too far ahead of the other, at least so far. There's only been one run difference between them ever since the World Series started.
Well, if they don't cut it out, a lot of people are going to start developing ulcers.
Here's the 2-1 pitch, and Campanella swings and sends a long drive to deep left center field. Lindell races back and back and back, and he hauls it in for the out. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, and nobody left on. And the score at the end of 6.5 innings remains Brooklyn 1, the Yankees nothing. You know, when Eddie Yost of the Washington Senators talks up the Gillette Super Speed Razor, as he did on the air last inning, you can be plenty sure it is a honey, just as he said. Men, this razor changes blades instantly, skims off whiskers smooth as silk, and rinses clean in a jiffy. There's nothing to take apart or put together, nothing to jam or clog, and you don't have to be a locksmith to make it work. For tops in shaving ease and convenience, plus value that can't be matched, ask for the new Gillette Super Speed Razor Set at any convenience store. You get a fine, precision-made Gillette one-piece razor, a Gillette dispenser holding 10 factory-sharp Gillette blue blades, and a modern serviceable styrene travel case. All in all, a big $1.75 value for only $1. Yes, that's right. You pay only $1. Yankee fans still standing after having taken their 7th inning stretch. And by the way that the people stood in the top and now in the bottom half of the 7th inning, you would not know whether Brooklyn or Yankee partisans predominated. It looked like an even-Steven proposition. Yankee fans are beginning to holler right now. Last the 7th, 1-0 Brooklyn. Joe DiMaggio leading off. Preacher Rowe throws. DiMaggio takes inside for ball 1. The Clipper flied to center and struck out. A-Flame to pull sharply. Snyder deep and over toward left center, and Almo way over toward the left field line. Hermansky's not looking for Joe to hit too much into right center, though. And the delivery swung on and fouled off to the left of the plate as Joe took that good cut. 1 ball, 1 strike. He has one of the most graceful swings that any ball player has ever had. As Red Ralph, now manager of the Detroit Tigers, remarked once this summer as he noted a picture in the Yankee press room after a Yankee-Tiger ball game, a picture showing DiMaggio batting against Bob Feller when Feller pitched a no-hitter against the Yankees in '46. He said, just look at that, a picture of sheer power. DiMaggio swings and sends a bounder right to third to Jorgensen, right near the line. He's up with it, flips on over to Hodges in time, and there's one away. And so the Yankee Clipper remains hitless in this World Series. And up to the plate now comes Johnny Lindell, who flied to right and bounced out to Rowe in the 4th inning. I say bounced out, he lined out to Rowe and almost got Rowe out of the game, not because of Rowe's pitching deficiencies at all. And that liner hit Rowe on the glove as he knocked the ball down. It was his right hand, not his pitching hand, and really puffed it up a little bit. He was concerned about it for a while and caused speculations of whether he'd be able to continue or not. He has, and he's done magnificently. Now the pitch to Lindell. The curve is up high. Ball 1. 1-0 Brooklyn. Last half of the 7th inning. Lindell asks plate umpire Beans Reardon to have a look at the ball, says it's all right. Reardon calling balls and strikes, National League. Art Passerella of the American League umpiring at first base. Lou Jordan of the National League at second. Cal Hubbard of the American League at third. George Barr of the National League down the right field line. Ed Hurley of the American League down the left field line. There's a pitch swung on, supply ball, hit out into left field. Louis Almo gets under it, and he makes the catch. So there are 2 away. And Billy Johnson stepping in. Johnson robbed of an extra base hit on a beautiful running catch by Duke Snyder of Johnson's liner in the 2nd inning that did tricks. Not only sank, but curved, and Snyder wound up having to make a gloved hand catch of the ball to his left as he was racing to his right. Johnson fouled out in the 5th inning to Campanella. Preacher Rowe throws, misses the outside corner with a half-speed ball, and it's ball 1. As Red remarked earlier in the game, Rowe has not shown you any of the overpowering type of stuff that Newcomb or Reynolds did yesterday. He's not that type of pitcher. There's a curve outside, ball 2. But he is a stuff pitcher who mixes up his slow curves, and he'll toss a fast one in there on occasion. He won't overpower you, but he can fool you. 2 down, and the 2-0 pitch to Billy Johnson. Right over there for a called strike, 2-1. 1-0 Brooklyn, last of the 7th. This is steady, consistent, hard-fought baseball. Brilliant pitching. Now the 2-1 delivery. Swung on. There's a line drive to left field that Almo races in for. Can't get. It bounces, takes it on 1 hop. Throws quickly into second. Johnson takes his turn around first and is on with a single on a ball that Almo conceivably could have caught had he kept coming in. But at the last second, he, for some reason, decided to stop and go back and took it on a hop. So Johnson is on with a line single to left. And that is hit number 4 for the Yankees. Never more than 1 in any inning. The Dodgers, who have had a total of 6 hits, found themselves with more than 1 in only 1 inning, and that was the big inning of the game thus far. Robinson's double and Hodges single, giving the Brooklyns their 1-0 lead. Now you have Jerry Colvin, who flied to center in the second, double last time up. Jerry takes just outside for a ball, it's a fastball. Coleman doubled into the left field corner in the 5th inning with 1 out, but neither Silvera nor Rashi were equal to getting him around. He did advance to third on Silvera's infield out, but that was as far as he got. Brooklyn 1, New York 0. 7th inning, 2 down. Stretch by Rowe, the pitch. Jerry Coleman takes, strike call. That was a fastball, came in there just below the shoulders. 1-1, that's the count on Coleman. 1-0, that's the score in favor of Brooklyn. Tomorrow, remember, the scene shifts to Ebbets Field, and we will be on the air at 12:45 Eastern Standard Time. Rowe throws, Coleman, there goes the runner, there's the throw down, and in there safely is Johnson with the stolen bases. Everybody was fooled in the whole ballpark. Reese didn't cover, Robinson didn't cover, and I'm just wondering if maybe Jerry Coleman hadn't missed a sign. Billy Johnson does not steal bases. He stole 1 during the entire season. But sometimes the unexpected is what defeats the opposition. We can only speculate as to whether, frequently it could happen that a batter missed a hit-and-run sign, or the base runner, rather, might have gotten the notion that he saw one and didn't. A lot of things could happen, but the fact remains that neither Reese nor Robinson covered. And it would probably be Robinson's job to cover. We don't know just what their situation is, but with Coleman a right-hand hitter up and who can pull. Here's your delivery. Swung on, little roller, hit wide at first. There's Robinson in on it, up with it, over to Hodges in time, and the inning is over. So nothing came of the stolen base. No runs for the Yankees, 1 hit. No errors for the Dodgers, and 1 left on for New York. So your 7-inning totals: Brooklyn, 1 run, 6 hits, 1 error, 4 left on. The Yankees, no runs, 4 hits, 1 error, and 4 men left on base. And thus we move along to the 8th inning with Preacher Rose scheduled to lead off for Brooklyn, and then the top of the order, Pee Wee Reese and Johnny Jorgensen. Ebbets Field tomorrow for the 3rd game of the series, for the 4th game of the series, and for the 5th game of the series, unless you anticipate a sweep, something most people don't. Listen to this hand for Rowe. In the event a 6th game is necessary, the teams will return to Yankee Stadium. And in the event the 7th game is necessary, it too will be played here. So we're ready now for the top half of the 8th inning. Preacher Rowe is the batter. Charlie Silvera motions to Lindell to move in a little closer and left. Johnson's in close at third. Vic Rashi, the right-hander, into the windup. In comes the pitch, and it's outside for ball 1. It was a fastball. Rowe has struck out twice, once swinging, the last time watching the 3rd strike go by. Milton Stock clapping his hands together, coaching there at third. Jake Pittler coaching at first. Rashi throws, swung on and missed. Strike one, 1-1. 1 ball, 1 strike. The outfield is very shallow. And the delivery. Swung on and missed. Strike 2, 1-2. Fastball delivered inside to the batter in front of the wrists. Pee Wee Reese in the batter's circle. Rashi's 1-2 delivery. High. Ball 2, 2-2. Jake Pittler comes out of the first base coach's box, cups his hands over his mouth, hollers something up the road, pep him up a little. Coaches do another job, too, in moving around and hollering. They sometimes rattle pitchers. Here's your 2-2 delivery on its way. The right-hand batter swings and misses. Strike 3. Rowe goes down, striking out for the third time. That's 4 strikeouts for Rashi. 3 of them have been at Rowe's expense. The other was Jackie Robinson in the 4th inning. Now we go to the top of the Dodger order. The little Colonel, Pee Wee Reese from Louisville, Kentucky, flying to left, grounded to short, grounded to third. Johnson moves in close at third. Reese a good bunter. Outfield shaded slightly toward left. Rashi fires. The pitch is swung on, hit sharply out to short. Rizzuto goes right up with it. Throws over to Henrik in time, and Reese is out. 2 up and 2 away. Now you've got Johnny Jorgensen coming to bat. Grounded out to Henrik, fouled out to Silvera, and then doubled to left in the 6th inning, leading off, but did not score. A lone run thus far occurred in the 2nd inning when Jackie Robinson doubled into the left field corner for his first hit of the series. Advanced to third, and with 2 down, scored on Hodges' single to left. Jorgensen bats him left-handed, and on the first pitch swings and lines one right to Coleman for out number 3. The ball sank a bit. It started out as if it'd be over Coleman's head into right center for a base hit, but it sank and came right down in Jerry's glove. No runs, no hits, no errors, nobody left on. At the end of 7.5 innings, the score, Brooklyn 1, the Yankees nothing. It was next to impossible, old-timers say, to hit a ball past Jimmy Collins, the greatest third baseman of them all. Now, I say it's not just next to impossible, but absolutely impossible to find another razor blade as sharp, as easy shaving, and as long-lasting as today's Gillette Blue Blade. What's more, this blade fits your Gillette razor exactly and protects you from the irritation and discomfort caused by ordinary blades and faulty shaving methods. So men, for utmost shaving satisfaction at an actual saving in money, buy Gillette Blue Blades. In the original package, they're 5 for a quarter. In the handy Gillette dispenser that deals them out unwrapped, you get 20 blades, 40 shaving edges for 98 cents, 10 blades for 49 cents. Look sharp, feel sharp, be sharp. Use Gillette Blue Blades with the sharpest edges ever honed. And as we come into the last half of the 8th inning, Casey Stengel, with the game going late, last of the 8th, is trying to make his move. He is sending in Johnny Mize to bat for Charlie Silvera. And Joe Page has just gone to work in the Yankee bullpen. And there may be a pinch hitter for Vic Rashi. It's 1-0 in favor of the Dodgers. So Johnny Mize, who came from the National League to the Yankees toward the end of the season in time to be eligible for the World Series, is pinch hitting for Silvera. In comes the pitch. Strike 1 it's called. Sidearm delivery, got the outside corner. Mize is no stranger, of course, to Rowe or the Dodgers. Rowe delivers, sidearm again, it's outside. Ball 1, 1-1. Mize hurt his shoulder after joining the Yankees, having played a couple of games for them in a play at Comiskey Park in Chicago, and has been unable to play first base, but can swing a bat. He can't throw. The 1-1 pitch. Swung on, hit out into right field, coming fast for it is Hermansky. Can't get it. It's in there for a base hit. Grabs it on a hop, throws to second, and Mize pinch hits and singles to right field. Now we'll have a runner. Johnny Mize singles to right, gets a hand as he leaves first base with George Sternweiss going in to run for Mize. And Bobby Brown is going to come up to hit for Vic Raschi. So Mize hitting for Silvera, singles to right. Sternweiss is going in to run for Mize. And Bobby Brown will come up to hit for Raschi. Little conference with Reese, Hodges, and Preacher Rowe. Johnny Mize gets a base hit in his first appearance in a World Series. Banta going to work in the bullpen for Brooklyn. Just in passing, as great a record as Johnny Mize has compiled, as great a star as he's been, he had never appeared in a World Series. And this was his first appearance. And the Georgia boy single to right. He lives down in Florida now. And here's Bobby Brown, who hit .303 on the regular season, batting for Raschi. Spider Jorgensen moves way in on the grass at third, stretched by Rowe. There's a move to first base, Sternweiss back. You're going to try and hold him very close. The outfield for Brown, almost straight away. Snyder's just a step over toward right center from a straightaway center position. The pitch, right in there for a call strike, sidearm delivery, broke right over. Gil Hodges comes over now to say something to Preacher Rowe. Reaches down to pick up the rosin bag as he says something to him, Sato voice. 1-0 Brooklyn, last of the 8th inning. And for the first time in the ball game, the fans are getting really aroused. Getting down to the final stages. Here's your pitch. Bobby Brown bunts. No, he held back. Pitches outside for a ball. He went into the bunt motion. Beans Reardon, back of the plate, went down on the knee and watched the plate very closely and said no, he did not make the motion, and the pitch was outside, and it's ball one, and the count is 1-1. So here is a situation. The Yankees trailing by 1. They have a runner on. Dodgers are looking for that bunt. Brown up, chokes his bat, leans over the plate. The pitch, he is taking it. It's in there for call strike 2. The Preacher cut loose with a fast one that time. He figured Brown would be bunting. Brown was not going to bunt. He was ready to swing, but took the pitch. He got the outside corner, about letter high. 1 ball, 2 strikes. And now Jorgensen has backed up at third. Reese and Robinson both in a couple of steps. At double play depth in the event of the ground ball coming their way. Hodges holding Sternweiss to stretch by Rowe. Here's the pitch, and Bobby Brown takes strike 3, called over the outside corner. Preacher Rowe gave Bobby that left-handed screwball, the pitch that made Carl Hubbell famous. Matter of fact, the last 2 pitches were screwballs. Red reminded me of that. And Bobby Brown, who was quite a nuisance to the Dodgers in the '47 World Series, strikes out in a pinch-hitting role here in the last of the 8th inning. So there's 1 out. Sternweiss running for Mize, who pinch hit successfully for Silvera. On first, a throw over, not in time. And the batter is Phil Rizzuto, who singled in the first inning, safe on an error in the third, and grounded out in the 6th to first baseman Gil Hodges. Jorgensen moves in close at third. Rowe ready. Checks his runner. Looks around. Now the pitch. It's inside for a ball, Rizzuto. 1 ball, no strikes. Dodgers leading 1-0. Tommy Henrich in the batter's circle. Little Phil up there trying to advance his teammate, George Sternweiss, one way or the other. Time has been called by Sternweiss, as we mentioned his name. Sternweiss called time. And fakes a pulling of the tongue of his shoe on his left foot, but actually stealing a look down to Rizzuto to get straightened out on the sign. Now Phil is back in the hitting position. Stretched by Rowe, Sternweiss with a short lead. A look around, here's the pitch. Swung on and fouled back to the screen. The count is 1-1. So the crowd is warming to this situation, with the Dodgers leading 1-0. Last of the 8th inning. And with a runner on, things could happen. And so Dodger partisans are rooting for Rowe to stop a potential rally. Yankee partisans are rooting for the Yankees to come along and tie it up or go ahead. And so the battle continues to seethe out here at Yankee Stadium. And Preacher Rowe, very calm, delivers. Rizzuto bunts the ball down toward third. There's Rowe going over, picks the ball up, boots it. He boots it, and all hands are safe. Little Bill dropped the bunt down the third baseline. Rowe raced over, grabbed the ball, started to whirl the throw, and then dropped it. And they have scored it as an error. Sternweiss is on second, and Rizzuto on first. And the batter is Tommy Henrich. It will probably be scored as a sacrifice and an error. It is. It's a sacrifice for Rizzuto and an error for Rowe. And here's Henrich, who flied to right, grounded to short, and grounded to Hodges. Rowe stretches, pitches. Henrich takes outside, ball one. 1 ball, no strikes. And so the Yankees, for the first time in the ball game, of any consequence at least, have begun to put a little pressure on Rowe. Whether or not they'll be able to break through remains to be seen. Sternweiss off second, Rizzuto off first. The pitch outside, ball 2. 2 balls, no strikes. Rizzuto was on first with nobody out in the first inning. He was on first with 2 outs in the third. Coleman was on second with 1 out in the fifth. And Johnson was on second with 2 outs in the seventh. So the Yankees have not had a runner. I'd say that Coleman actually advanced to third with 2 outs in the fifth inning. That's the only runner they've had as far as third. 2 balls, no strikes on Henrich. Sternweiss moves off second. Rizzuto off first. The pitch. Swung on and missed. Strike 1. Henrich gave it the good cut. And it's a 2-1 count on Old Reliable. Dodgers leading 1-0. Last half of the 8th inning. 1 out. Sternweiss on second. Rizzuto on first. The outfield toward right, and Rowe with the stretch. Comes in with the pitch. It is fouled off to the left of the plate by Henrich, who didn't even swing. He started to, held up. The ball hit his bat and skipped on in behind the plate. So the count is 2-2. And the Preacher walking very easily and calmly around the mound, not too perturbed. He's been in situations like this before, perhaps tougher ones. Never in a World Series, but in battling to get into a World Series. And so he looks to get the sign from Campanella. And Sternweiss moves off second, Rizzuto off first. The 2-2 pitch is swung on and fouled off behind the plate as the Preacher delivered that screwball up there. The pitch on which he struck out pinch hitter Bobby Brown. Joe Page, in the meantime, is heating up in the bullpen. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 1 out. Last the 8th inning. Dodgers 1, Yankees nothing. And perhaps the first truly exciting moment outside of Tommy Henrich's dramatic sudden death blow in the 9th inning yesterday that we have had so far in the series. That is, anything that kept building and building in any given instant. So with the count 2-2, Rowe stretches. Sternweiss off second, Rizzuto off first. The pitch swung on and fouled back again on the screen. And Henrich slams his bat. He sort of flipped it into the air and slammed it with his left hand because evidently that was the pitch that he was looking for and wanted but didn't do anything with. So before some 70,000 fans, 70,053, we have tremendous tension building up here. It's a battle between Rowe and Henrich right now. Sternweiss off second, Rizzuto off first. The pitch, and Henrich takes just outside for ball 3. Whew, that was close. Full count on Henrich, 3-2. And now you have the situation with runners on first and second being forced by this pitch. But whether or not Casey Stengel will have them running with 1 out or playing it safe, 8th inning of a World Series behind 1-0 is something we shall have to look for. The stretch by Rowe, the check of the 2 runners. A look around. There they go. The pitch is swung on and foul tipped and is dropped by Campanella. How about that? There was Tommy Henry, almost struck out. A foul tip and with a tremendous spin off the bat. It's pretty rough on a catcher trying to hold those. And it's tough on a pitcher when a catcher doesn't. But that's a job I don't believe I'd like to have. Would you, Red, that catching department? And now time is called as Pee Wee Reese trots in from short to talk to the preacher. Just a nickname. That is not his profession. He's a school teacher by trade. And so far this afternoon has been giving the Yankees a few lessons in baseball. It's a full count on Henrik. Sternweiss on second. Rizzuto on first. I think Campanella probably wanted to throw that ball to third so quick that the runner's breaking might have caused him to drop it. The stretch, they're playing it safe. The pitch is swung on. It's a fly ball to left field. Almo going back. He's going to get under it. And he makes the catch for the out. Sternweiss and Rizzuto each halfway go back to second and first respectively. And they got rid of a rough man. 2 down, and the batter is Hank Bauer. Henrik flying to Almo and left. No advance. And that was a thrilling little duel going on right there, particularly in view of the fact that it was Tommy Henrik who broke up the ball game yesterday and who had that opportunity here in the 8th inning. Preacher Rowe was equal to it. He was pitching, and Tommy was swinging, and the crowd was thrilled. And now with Hank Bauer coming up, there are Rowe, Robinson, Reese, and Jorgensen discussing the situation. And Pee Wee, while talking it over, reached into his hip pocket, extracted a stick of chewing gum, and shoved it into his mouth while he was also talking to Preacher. Pee Wee, the captain of the team, a great competitor. And now here's Hank Bauer, who fouled out in the first inning to Robinson, who moved in behind Hodges across the foul line to catch the pop-up, and who singled in the 4th and grounded to third in the 6th. The outfield way around toward left. Jorgensen deep at third, 2-3 feet off the line. Reese deep at short, over into the third base gap. Jackie Robinson about 3 strides to the right of second. Hodges deep, 6 feet off the first base line. Rowe ready. Here's his pitch, and Bauer swings and sends one to third, and it's beautifully up with it is Jorgensen. Throws to Robinson for the force out at second on Rizzuto, and the threat is over. No runs for the Yankees. 1 hit, 1 error for the Dodgers, and 2 men left on for New York, and Rowe continues to refuse to let the Yankees have more than 1 hit in any inning, though that was the closest they came because that smash by Bauer was very well hit and almost went to the left of the Spider, but he went over to get it. So the score at the end of 8 innings remains the Dodgers 1, the Yankees nothing. Well, you know, folks, no wonder the Gillette Tech razor is world famous. It skims off stubble with light, gentle strokes and gives you clean, smooth shaves that feel as good as they look. The Gillette Tech has a solid bar guard that sets up whiskers as a barber does. Its non-skid tread prevents nicks. And bend an ear to this. Complete with 5 Gillette blue blades, the Gillette Tech razor is yours. Before we go into the 9th inning, we pause 10 seconds for station identification. This is the Mutual Broadcasting System.
For the tops in sports, listen to WOR and WOR-FM, your World Series stations in New York.
Coming into the ball game for the New York Yankees is Joe Page. Vic Raschi was removed for the pinch hitter in the last of the 8th inning. Gus Nyhaus goes in to do the catching as Charlie Silvera was removed for a pinch hitter. So a new battery for the Yankees in the 9th inning. Page pitching, Nyhaus catching. Berra's left hand is still swollen. A fractured thumb that he sustained back on August 7th, hit by a pitched ball, and which put him out of action for a month, and which still gives him trouble. Was aggravated yesterday as he received those murderous fastballs of Allie Reynolds. And now as we go to the top of the 9th inning, Duke Snyder, left-hand hitter up, grounded to short to second, skied to center. Joe Page, making his first appearance of this World Series, comes in with a delivery, swung on and fouled back, strike 1. A good cut by Duke Snyder, a good fastball delivered by Page. 1-0, favor the Dodgers. There are probably several things that you people listening in are wondering about in the nature of statistics and World Series history that we will tell you about in a little while. Page delivers outside, ball one. As a matter of fact, it possibly will be delayed intentionally by us to the end of this game. And Red is doing a lot of thumbing through the good old record book, double-checking situations, and we'll discuss them with you. The 1-1 pitch. Swung on, hit sharp into the hole between third and short into left field for a base hit. Johnny Lindell comes over, up to the ball, bobbles it momentarily, fires into second. Holding first is Snyder with his first hit of the World Series. Hit that one on the handle and sliced it into left, but had so much power behind his swing that it was well hit. Now you got Jackie Robinson coming up. Jackie doubled in the second inning, struck out in the fourth, grounded to short in the sixth. And the Dodgers are in position to, with a 1-0 lead, to go for the extra one by way of the bunt by Robinson, who is one of the best at bunting and also at beating them out. But we'll see. He might be swinging. Johnson's looking for the bunt. The throws to first base. Back in time is Snyder. More action taking place in the New York bullpen, which is in a runway between the bleachers and the right field grandstand. Page stretches, checks his runner. The pitch inside to Robinson and low. Ball one. 1 ball, no strikes. Dodgers leading 1-0, top of the 9th inning. Page gets his sign. He's ready. Here's the pitch. Robinson shortens up, bunts the ball at a beautiful spot. It's taken by Henrik. Plays it to Coleman for the out. He cocked his arms if he's going to throw to second Rizzuto, but so he did not have a chance to get Snyder, who was really winging. And the fans started to come up with a roar, thinking that Henrik was going to make a play too late there. But he stopped his motion and whirled and threw to Coleman, who had come over from second to first to take the throw. It's a sacrifice for Jackie Robinson. He is out. Henrik to Coleman. Thus, a runner is set up in scoring position for the Dodgers, and here is Carl Furillo coming out to bat for Gene Hermansky. Furillo, who was the leading Dodger hitter in the stretch run, who is out of action today because of the groin injury that hampered him no end yesterday. And Bert Schotten, playing percentage to the hilt, is sending up this right-handed batter with the left-hand pitcher now coming in for New York, Joe Page. And Furillo is up there to hit for Gene Hermansky with Snyder on second, 1 out, 9th inning, 1-0 Brooklyn, and Page steps off the rubber momentarily to break the tension. Dodgers 1, Yanks 0. Page sets, throws, Furillo fouls it off to the right of the plate. I started to say he swung. He started to, checked his swing, but the ball hit the bat and skipped foul off to the right. 1 strike on Carl. The Gillette Safety Razor Company very happy to bring you all of these thrilling situations in this World Series. Snyder has a short lead off second. Joe Page throws. Furillo swings and lets a high pop-up out into short right. Coleman backtracks. He's under it. Henrik hollers Jerry, and Coleman makes the catch, and holding second is Snyder. Looked like I saw a little white that time coming out of the pocket of Coleman's glove as that ball might have spun around a little. So there are 2 down, and Louis Olmo coming up. He was Rackley's replacement in the last of the fourth when Marv pulled a back muscle running to back up a play at second base. Olmo digs in at home plate, stands deep in the batter's box, slightly open stance, holds the bat down to the end of the handle. Not too close to the plate now. Johnson deep at third, near the line. Rizzuto over towards second. A lot of room between shortstop and the third baseman. Here's your pitch, and it's outside for a ball. 1 ball, no strikes. And here are 2 teams who have so far come up with magnificent pitching in the 2 games of this World Series. Joe Page sets, throws, swung on, a bouncer hit out to short. Rizzuto grabs it 2 hops, flips on over to Henrik in time, and the inning is over. So Joe Page actually was the first pitching change that was necessary in the series, and that brought on not by a pitching deficiency, but by the need of a pinch hitter. No runs for the Dodgers, 1 hit. No Yankee errors, 1 left on. And so we come to the fateful ninth, last half of the ninth, with Brooklyn leading 1-0. And thus the shoe, so to speak, is on the other foot. Yesterday at this very same time, it was a scoreless ball game, and Tommy Henry coming to bat, and with dramatic suddenness on a 2-0 pitch, a rifle shot into the right field seats, and the 66,000, stunned by the suddenness of it all, sat there for a moment. Now, as we come to the last half of the ninth inning today, the Yankees trail by 1-0, and you've got Mike McCormick going to the outfield for the Dodgers. He will play right field in place of Gene Hermansky, for whom Carl Furillo hit. And thus you have, for Brooklyn, Louis Olmo in left, Snyder in center, Mike McCormick, who played in a World Series previously, in right field, and leading off in the last of the ninth inning is Joe DiMaggio, who flied to center, struck out, and grounded to third. And Elwin Rowe from down in Arkansas is into the windup and pitches, and DiMaggio swings and fouls it off upstairs to the left of the plate, strike 1. Somebody made a fair catch for the souvenir and gets a hand. One strike to count on DiMaggio. The outfield swung toward left, in center and left, with McCormick looking for DiMaggio to hit toward right a bit. He hadn't been pulling too much since he was ill. And your pitch, right in there beautifully for called strike 2. The curve. Johnny Lindell on deck and Billy Johnson to follow. 1-0 in favor of Brooklyn. Last half of the ninth inning. Jorgensen deep at third near the line. Reese over into the third base gap. Jackie Robinson 2-3 strides to the right of second. Gil Hodges 10 feet off the first baseline in halfway. The Dodger left-hander throws. DiMaggio swings and sends a little roller out toward short. Coming in fast for it is Jorgensen, up with the ball, fires to first base, not in time. DiMaggio beats it out. Joe DiMaggio beats out a slow roller. He was fooled by the pitch. Did not get the solid part of the bat on it at all. Hit over the ball and hit a slow roller out toward a point between third and short. Spider Jorgensen raced in, grabbed it, and fired, but DiMaggio beat it out for an infield hit. Jack Banter goes to work in the bullpen. And now here's Johnny Lindell up. Flied to right, bounced out to the pitcher, and flied to left. Jorgensen moves in close at third to look for the bunt. Hodges holding against Joe. There's Robinson sneaking in behind. There's a pitch out, a throw down to first. DiMaggio's just in there in time as Jackie Robinson made a fall-away diving catch of that throw by Campanello to keep it going into right field. Red and I were able to spot that play immediately because Jackie Robinson started moving quickly toward first base, something that he would not normally do if he weren't looking for the pickoff. But the pitch out was called for, because if he left his position like that, the batter sometimes could drive one through it. But you could see as he started racing to first, as Hodges started racing in, they were trying to work that beautiful pickoff play at first. Ball 1, no strikes. Jorgensen looking for the bunt, so is Johnson. Here's the pitch. Lindell swings and he misses for a strike as he was going for the base hit, hoping for it. He's not going for the bunt. 1 ball, 1 strike. Sometimes batters go up there and purposely miss a swing like that to try and move a infielder back a bit and then lay the bunt down. We'll watch. Row ready. 9th inning. There's a move to first base. DiMaggio back. Beautiful to watch everybody move. There was the right fielder, Mike McCormick, darting toward the right field line of that throw to first. The stretch. Here's your pitch. Lindell shortens up, bunts into the air, foul off the right of the plate. Hodges charging, couldn't get to it. So it's a 1-2 count on Lindell, and now he's got to be swinging. And the possibility of many things happening, either for good or for bad, depending on which way you're looking at it. And we're looking at it from a point directly back of home plate right down the middle. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Jorgensen backed up at third. Hodges holding against DiMaggio. Last of the 9th inning, 1-0 Brooklyn. The stretch. Here's the pitch. Lindell swings and he misses. Strike 3, and he's out of there. That's the 3rd strikeout for Rowe. He hasn't struck out too many, but he has struck them out when he had to. He struck out Brown in the 8th inning with a runner on first and nobody out. He struck out Lindell in the 9th with a runner on first and nobody out. And here's Billy Johnson, who's had 1 for 3. It's an easy lob over to first base. DiMaggio on the bag all the while. Johnson lined to center, foul to the catcher, single to left. 1 down, last of the 9th inning. Rowe ready. As a move to first base again, DiMaggio back. You know, a lot of times people feel that when a batter doesn't bunt, that he's deficient in that respect. Sometimes that pitcher's got an awful lot to do with it. Here's your pitch. Low inside, ball 1. That pitcher can throw that ball the way he wants to. They're very difficult to bunt them sometimes. In other words, it isn't as easy as it looks. The southpaw throws. Johnson takes strike call over the inside corner. And that's the first beat that's been registered all afternoon on a call decision at home plate. To any extent, Johnson walked out of the box. Didn't say too much, but in his actions indicated that he was displeased with the call. But says very little. 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out. Last of the 9th inning, 1-0 Brooklyn. DiMaggio off first. Here's your delivery. Johnson swings and foul tips it for strike 2. And Preacher Rowe is mixing up his curves, his screwballs in magnificent fashion. 1-2 the count. 1 out, last of the 9th. Brooklyn 1, New York nothing. The Dodgers run coming in the 2nd inning when Jackie Robinson led off with a double and with 2 down, scored on Hodges' single to left after he had advanced to third on an infield out. Here's your pitch, swung on, a fly ball hit foul down the right field line and going out of play. Robinson advanced to third, on a pop fly foul that Jerry Coleman caught down the right field line. Slipped as he was about to throw, but Jackie, with his great speed, in a daring gamble, raced to third and made it easily. Not even drawing the throw. All right, we're ready. Here's your pitch. Johnson swings, pops it up into the air. Down toward second, toward first. Jackie Robinson is coming in under it and makes the catch. He took a look at Johnson, see whether Billy was going to run it out or not. If Billy was running too slow, he might have allowed it to drop and then started what he would have hoped to have been a DP. So Johnson pops out to Robinson. Jerry Coleman is the batter. And you have had, as an incidental bit of information, important actually, rather than being incidental, and this is in no wise mentioned at this time for purposes of jinxing anybody, but merely from a repertorial standpoint, that the Dodgers pitchers, Newcomb and Rowe, have yet to walk a man in this series. 2 outs, last of the 9th inning. Jerry Coleman, who flied to center, double to left and grounded to second, is the batter. DiMaggio on first. Dodgers leading 1-0. Rowe ready. Here's his pitch. Coleman takes high, ball 1. 1 ball, no strikes. Rowe, of course, is quite a control artist. That is the secret of his pitching success, along with his natural stuff. But regardless of how much stuff a pitcher may have, if he's unable to control it or to put that ball where he wants to, it doesn't do him too much good. Now the left-hander throws, and Coleman swings and fouls it off to the right of the plate. It's going to go out of play back of first, the ball dropping into the upper deck. So the count on Coleman is 1-1. 1 ball, 1 strike, 2 down, last of the 9th inning. The Dodgers 1, the Yankees nothing. and very few people leaving. You don't leave these kind of ball games till that last man is out. 1 ball, 1 strike, 2 down. Rowe with a stretch. Here's the pitch. Jerry Coleman swings and sends a drive in the right center field. Racing over fast forward is Mike McCormick getting under, and he makes the catch, and the ball game is over. And so it was turnabout, and turnabout is fair play, as the Dodgers shut out the Yankees today 1-0, with Preacher Rowe refusing to let the Yankees have more than 1 hit in any given inning. And the totals for the Dodgers: 1 run, 7 hits, 2 errors, and 5 men left on. And for the Yankees, no runs, 6 hits, 1 error, and 7 men left on base. So another brilliant pitching duel. The series stands at 1-1 as the Dodgers win it today 1-0. And I know that Red Barber enjoyed this ball game as much as he did the one yesterday, because we have seen baseball played in an old-fashioned sort of way. And they do say that old-fashioned things are the best after all, Red.
Well, I don't know. A couple of us young fellas talking about the old-fashioned ways. Except I've been going back to the record book, Mel, and I know what you're referring to as far back as the 8th inning, and you were kind enough to both ball clubs. You didn't want to bring it up. This is the first time in the history of World Series that there have been 2 consecutive 1-0 games put back-to-back. And it's the first time since 1921 that the World Series opened with consecutive shutouts. They were not 1-0 ball games, either one of them. And a total of 52 shutout games have come about in World Series, all told, beginning with the 1903 one when the modern records are compiled, and from there on is where we go. And so these are the only 2 1-0 ones back-to-back. And it's been a long time since the World Series opened with consecutive shutout games in 1921, when you recall the Yankees had Mays and Hoyt shut out the Giants. Well, the story in this ball game is the story of one guy. That is, there are many stories, but it's a lean, skinny, maybe the late Rudyard Kipling had him in mind when he was writing about a rag and a bone and a hank of hair, and that's about all there is to Preacher Rowe, except a heart that's as big as his native state of Arkansas. And he's just a bundle of fighting nerves out there on the mound. He'd known for some days what he was going to do. Manager Shotton knew, and Rowe knew, that when Rowe was called to relieve on Saturday to Philadelphia, as frail as his physique, that he could not be the starting pitcher yesterday. I think most everybody really close to Brooklyn realized that relief call Saturday at Philadelphia meant that Newcomb would have to start yesterday and Rowe today. And so Rowe, for those days, had been sweating it out, and of course yesterday's game added the pressure to him as he watched these 2 great pitchers, Reynolds and Newcomb. And however, Preacher went out there. He had things go wrong, including messing up with a bunt himself. But when trouble came down, he was the equal to it and was the master. And we have had 2 brilliant World Series games. This one was much more nervous and pressure-packed for the simple reason that the Dodgers got their run in the 2nd inning. Yesterday's game, the run came with explosive suddenness when Henrik first up in the last of the 9th belted it in there, and he hit it well in the seats. But there was that 1 run on the scoreboard today, and the Yankees were running at it all day, which meant they were playing for a run, and the Dodgers were trying to make what can be a very slender margin until you're back in the clubhouse with it, as is the case with the Brooklyn Club now, trying to make a 1-run lead stand up. I said that the story is Rowe. It is the story of Rowe, but in any human being's story, there is also the additional stories of all the other people that come in contact with one. And I think that the secondary story to Rowe being on the mound is how he got on the mound today. A man in a brown suit and a big sloppy brown felt hat, a big bear of a man, a burly-shaped man, jumped out of a box right by the Brooklyn dugout, and when Rowe came in the dugout, this man had been slapping Brooklyn players all over the place as though they were just little 10-pins. But when Rowe came in, he really gave him a big hug. That man was Branch Rickey. Rowe came up under Rickey in the Cardinal system as a young left-hander who could throw hard. This was before he had an accident when he got hurt coaching basketball in Arkansas and lost his fastball. And so under Ricky years ago in the Cardinal chain, Rowe couldn't quite make it. He could always get to Columbus, let's say, but he couldn't get to St. Louis to pitch for him. Fellows like Ernie White, who were in their heyday, would be just ahead of him. But Ricky always had great faith in him. Rowe was later sold from the Cardinals to the Pirates. And 2 years ago, when it became a question, when you have the most popular player in the history of Brooklyn, which is Dixie Walker, Dixie was traded. Well, somebody had to come take the place of that fella. And it was in that deal that Ricky reached for Preacher Rowe and brought him from Pittsburgh. Last year, Rowe was an effective pitcher. This year, he won 15 games, and today he rewarded that great faith. Ricky wanted him and reached for him all the way through, and today it was a picture. Mel would look down once in a while. I couldn't help looking, knowing the relationship between the two. As Ricky sat there, the only show of emotion was the fact that he was clenching and unclenching his hands. But when the game was over, I believe Ricky moved faster than he ever moved in his life. And it was to Preacher Rowe, the left-hander, that he had reached for and who returned it. Rowe was the anchor man. Newcomb was brilliant. But the biggest games the Dodgers had to win with the Cardinals, the last two series they met, Rowe was the fellow that did it. And I know that the Cardinals are listening. I don't believe they're completely surprised because they know the sort of fellow that Rowe is. So that's the ball game. Each side had many, many opportunities to score. In fact, you could look back and say, well, gee, it ought to have been a bushel basket full of runs in the ball game. Vic Raschi is of course, the losing pitcher, and he went out for pinch pitcher Page in the ninth inning. Raschi pitched a tremendous game, good enough to win most any time. So this series is following the regular season pattern. Everything is very hard to win this year. Both pennants came to the closing day, the last innings, and now it looks as though one run is all you're going to get in a World Series ball game. Mel, things don't come any tougher than 1949, do they?
They sure don't, Red. About the only easy thing I know of is getting Gillette Blue Blades.
Okay, so once again, your totals for the Dodgers to even the series. It is 1 run, 7 hits and 2 errors. For the Yankees, no run, 6 hits and 1 error. It's quite a day, quite a human day, and tomorrow the series will be over at Ebbets Field, and tomorrow's another day, and Gillette's Cavalcade of Sports will be back on the air promptly at 12:45 Eastern Standard Time to report the third game of the 1949 World Series for you, play-by-play from Ebbets Field, Brooklyn. So until then, smooth sailing, smooth shaving, and a good afternoon from your host, the Gillette Safe to Razor Company, Mel Allen, and yours truly, Red Baldwin.
We wish to thank the makers of Philip Morris cigarettes and Alka-Seltzer, co-sponsors of Queen for a Day, for delaying their broadcast time today in order that you might hear the World Series game just concluded. Queen for a Day follows station identification. We also wish to thank the makers of La Rosa macaroni, spaghetti, and egg noodles, sponsors of the La Rosa Hollywood Theater of Stars, for relinquishing their broadcast period this afternoon. This is the Mutual Broadcasting System.